Greetings, welcome to Of Darkness and Light. My name is Daphne Garrido. I want to talk about a few things. Firstly, I'd like to say that if you're somebody who is sitting back, who knows I'm like disabled, but doesn't really believe me about schizophrenia or my summation on oracles of the past and perhaps is suggesting other diagnoses in your head or to another person about me, how dare you? How dare you, first off? Secondly, what about me seems unintelligent? What about me and all the work that I've done to figure out what's the malfunction in your head if you're trying to diagnose me against my own diagnosis? That's just contrarianism. So if you're somebody that's maybe stuck in that, maybe recognize that I'm a mentally disabled person and it doesn't really matter, that you're wrong. How about that? Because I have schizophrenia and you would have to be retarded to not listen to a genius when they're telling you they have schizophrenia and they cannot do things with their right brain without it putting them into trauma cycles which puke them out of existence. I have to sleep 3 or 4 times a day, little naps, or my internal simulations running from emails sent and messages put out there and chapters written get too intense. And then I'm like hearing too many voices inside. And then I lay down and I take a nap and I wake up and I'm like, okay, cool. And it's not like they really lay over each other. It's like the singular voice just changes too fast. And then I'm like stressed. Oh God, I'm getting snippets of a bunch of fake conversations that aren't really happening that my mind takes me to. I'm gonna lay down. And then as I'm laying down, I have to clear my mind and breathe and just let it all pass. And then I go to sleep and I wake up and I feel better. And I sleep for like 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours sometimes. That's a schizophrenic woman. And you're traumatizing a schizophrenic woman if you're somebody that I'm asking for help who is refusing to actively. Because it shouldn't matter if I'm right. You should help somebody that's asking for help, and you shouldn't pretend yourself too busy. I'm too busy. They don't know how busy I am. Okay, anybody who says that, every moment you waste, think about me. Every moment scrolling on your phone doing nothing, think of me. All right, cool. Enjoy that, seriously. Think of me, retard. That was to create some kind of like traumatic core memory. This too, it's like there's an intellect to it as well. So please forgive me, anyone. Somebody might be triggered by that enough for that to really bore into their psyche enough for them to be like scrolling on their phone and be like, why am I pretending I'm busy all the time when I'm just doing this and ignoring somebody who's dying who I could help really easily? That's what I'm trying to do. Yeah, maybe don't self-diagnose. Armchair, distance, video journal diagnose. These are my own art therapy journals that I'm using as also like performance art that is also about spreading my love of fiction that has gotten dark because I'm right on the cusp of being completely homeless because this entire world is going to run me off a cliff regardless of my diagnosis, because I am a trans woman who is too smart, who is disabled in the wrong way, period. And now we're going to talk about an honest truth. I was abused by one person more than most into an emotional child that I cradle inside with my big old psyche. I can imagine some people looking at some of my videos and being like, you have dissociative identity disorder, or you have this or that. It's like, yeah, dude, on top of my schizophrenia, idiot. So we're just laying that out there because I'm getting some vibes in my simulated conversations that came up specifically. I don't even talk about dissociative identity disorder, but my internal little Sherlock said those words to me today. I was like, is somebody out there not helping me because they think I have dissociative identity disorder? Because I surely do. Layered into my schizophrenia sometimes, it's malleable because I heal that shit and then it comes the fuck back. Because I know more than your fucking therapist or your therapist friend or your therapist wife or your therapist girlfriend or your therapist husband about what's going on with me. Don't be a monster. Okay. There is one person. I've put their name up many times. I won't do it again. It's their birthday yesterday. This person has taken a most gentle meditation instructor who is just becoming a trans woman free of a marriage where they were being emotionally abused, wound her up in 18 different ways. Most of all, they wanted to be friends for life. She fell in love with them, as you do when you're close to somebody who your heart shines really brightly for, in a mental way, in an intellectual way. Communicated that, destroyed her, didn't know she was already on a spectrum of kind of like traumatized, schizophrenic or bipolar or whatever you want to call it. Not her problem, right? Not my problem, dude. This is a world where people are tough. Get your feelings tough. Everybody just emotionally abuses each other and does cruel things to each other. How dare you think you can trust me when I am a teacher of the way things are? And the way things are, say this: I choose to not see you again. I draw a boundary, disabled woman. Grow up, learn about it. And I'm like, okay, everywhere I turn, there's no help. Everywhere I turn, there's no help. I keep thinking about how this person morally in a just world owes me a fucking hug. And I know deep down in their heart, past all their mind bullshit, they would want that too. And I'm like, how do I get through to them? They must just not understand. They just must be like not looking at any of the messages I send. They must have just blocked these accounts. They must, and I am actively schizophrenic at this point. So this is what happens. I'm just depressed for 6 months. Then I get schizophrenic right when they say they never want to see me again, like about a month afterwards. Actually, when they're leaving me hanging, when they started a text message conversation and then like extra slow responded and then never responded. And I was like, I was already skitsy at that point. I was already kind of like coming out. I was being abused all summer. I was going through high emotional trauma. I was using plant medicines and my mind was getting messed up. And I'm doing some crazy Kundalini shit and I'm visualizing all this mad stuff. And yeah, I go and I drop a letter off at their work. I wrote it in a little short story called The Underworld, right? And I was so scared to walk into their place, I had to hype myself up like I was walking into hell in my mind the night before. It's like, if I can make it out of there, I can get in and out of this place and just drop off this package with this really nice letter. that just like honors them for everything they did in my life and just said, hey, I really, really, really would like to know you again sometime. Here's this necklace that, here's this book I think you'll like. And I got really disabled and it got really sad. And they were mean. They like scared me away. They're like, shoot, get away from me. And so I'm looking for help this whole time. I'm being Shutter Island by everybody. I'm talking about them a lot. I'm not telling people they're Jesus, by the way. I'm saying, I miss this person. I really want to see him again. Sometimes I'm like, I think we might end up together in the end. That's what I'm saying about that was the delusional part. It's like me being like, I think they're going to come back and figure out that we loved each other. And that's what I was holding on to. And, but at the same time, it's like, I also like just want to be your friend. And I just like figured this person must have ran away from being even friends because they had deeper feelings. And I was like, okay, I just want to be friends, but I have those deeper feelings too. So my hopes kept kind of taking that little thread of Sherlock of like, oh, they probably love me, and make it into romance stories, put them up on the internet, just be like, hey, let's be best buds. Understand, please, that I'm just writing a metaphor about my love feelings, and you're the only romance I ever had before I became a disabled woman who nobody will even be friends with. And then there was the day that my mind died fully. Probably when that dissociative identity disorder took place within me on top of my schizophrenia that had been around. So maybe I can come back, dude. But I write about it a lot. In Innie and Ooey, it was a door getting slammed shut in Innie's face and her staring at it. So I want to tell you about something. I sent a message. I have been hoping to hear from them for a long time and writing, and like, they're going to look one day and see all this stuff I've written and they'll reach out. And there was another part of me that was like kind of delusionally engaged in them being a really bad person who was watching everything and like with somebody and like thinking about it. And then I was like begging online like they were there. And sometimes people were just watching. It was super sad. And nobody's like, hey, people were reading Justice Year's like 30 reads per chapter. And it was like, that stuff is so clear. This is a schizophrenic woman begging for help, alone, thinking they're writing to somebody who's like not there, and then like writing about how they know they're not really there in the text. And then I wake up, days have gone by where I'm realizing something under the surface. And I wake up and I'm like, they have not been reading. I'm so delusional. They wouldn't do that. They're just out there not aware of what's going on. I'm just going to reach out and say, hey, I'm really sorry for those things I said. I really hope you've had a good year. This is when I thought your graduation would be. So I hope that's your day. And I would really love to heal these wounds and talk or see you sometime. And I was sitting there like, that's gonna be it, dude. I was like, that's it. I was brave. And then the message came back, it just said blocked. And I just, like, I disassociated. I disassociate sometimes. I don't have like a permanent dissociative identity. I have a schizophrenic body, mind. Deal with it. Even if your clinical understandings don't understand that. But that was a disassociation that didn't come crashing back down until I got a restraining order from that very same person 6 months later, 7 months later, to take me to a court date the day before Thanksgiving while I'm alone. That restraining order had me panic, lose my job because I was totally out of daze because I had been panicking all the time. And like, noping out of work because I was so stressed about how my mind wasn't working. I've been bullied by somebody who thought they were teaching me a lesson about boundaries and being cool and being tough. And everyone, because I'm a trans woman, and abusive relationships, physical abuse. Shoved up against the wall, my wrists were grabbed, somebody threatened me with a giant thing and screamed at me, and it was in a most intimate place where my daughter was, and it was somebody I trusted a lot. And then I had to live in the same home with them without my body being able to stabilize from stress. They wouldn't leave. Nobody would take my side. And it's not like I was even looking for a side. I was just like, somebody help me. I'm worried about myself and my daughter. People are like, you must be a crazy trans woman. That's the thing. Look on X. Look on X. Look at anything. Like, open your eyes, people. It's like mentally disabled. Trans people are mentally disabled. Trans people are mental rejects. Trans people are all mentally disabled. That is just a mental disability to think you're a woman. I have been made mentally disabled by that attitude and energy, not only sported actively and consciously by many, but underneath the surface by many and others who are abiding people that have that going on inside them so that they can play politics in the world around us. And so this is called trans misogynistic genocide of a schizophrenic person who could help people who are getting lobotomized by Western psychology that people are like drip feeding on. They're such crackheads for. You're probably hating me for like disagreeing with what your therapist told you about me. It's like, what the fuck? It's ridiculous. I talk about feeling stuff out of time. This one's not fun. Super Mario Brothers movie. I never felt such weird horror, gut churning, also kind of like I was weirdly into it, watching it over again. Like, why does this feel so crazy? When the like Koopa guy got his head turned into a Koopa. I know why now. I know why that felt funny to watch when I was a kid. I know why when I watched The Aviator, I felt so sad for him. Because I've lost my mind while aware of it, from the inside out, fighting it valiantly, facing ignorance everywhere, with no help, to lose my daughter in the highest emotional torture imaginable with nobody to care, dude. When I'm a best fucking parent ever. But everyone projects, not only am I not schizophrenic, not only am I just a crazy trans girl who was already mentally disabled when they thought they were trans, not only am I that, but I'm a child abuser who shouldn't be around kids and warping them with their ideology. And none of that's true. I'm an angel who has been surviving despite the fact that their mind has been raped to death by society and their emotional fucking body is whole. I am not a psychopath. I have not burnt out my feelings like I thought. I have built them out. I have the full spectrum of human emotion. I honestly call people retarded a lot, and I am retarded. It was hard to admit that. I'm mentally retarded. I've been mentally retarded by the punishment and the torture and the way my disability has been wielded back against me by everyone's ignorance and hatred. And it has allowed me to suffer and just like wilt inside with no help. It's disgusting. My mind is fucked up, dude, because y'all are still torturing me. Nobody's given me a single donation. Not one. And I'm going to be fucking homeless. And this person who's done it to me the most, they just hate my guts. They hate my guts. They probably want me to die. And I just am a disabled person who knows the truth that I have a giant wound in my heart that is a factual thing that needs a big hug and a big cry, and then I'll stop being so dysfunctioned about my emotions. And it is not a grow up and be tough. It's a stop projecting. You grow up. You be tough. You're the one afraid. You're afraid of your emotions. You're emotionally retarded. Along with everyone. All right, that's it. I hope you have a good one. I'm writing Wizard. It's going to fuck your brains up because it's the best thing ever written, and I haven't even really started it yet. I just picked the music, but it's going to kill.